Leafs talk or ish. Jays talk. Jays win, baby. Leafs win. Double dip night. We waited. We're sorry for everybody that's getting this thing late. If you were waiting up, listen, sorry, not sorry. This is the first time the Toronto Blue Jays have ever closed out the New York Yankees in a postseason series. The first time they've ever played them. 100% of the time the Toronto Blue Jays have played the New York Yankees in the postseason, they get the W. And yeah, the Leafs beat the Habs too, which is very sweet.
What a wonderful, wonderful. Listen, us Toronto sports fans, people like to dump on us for misery. They like to, make fun of us. And at least for one night, we have it all. We have it all. I mean, listen.
The rest of the week.
Yeah, for sure. But like tonight, we beat the New York Yankees and the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the the two most storied rivals, the ones that we hate the most in both of the sports.
Yeah.
They conquered them tonight. And I think one of them is a little bit more important than the other one. I'll probably hazard a guess to say that the one where the Toronto Blue Jays advanced to the ALCS to take on the Mariners or the Detroit Tigers, maybe a little bit more important. But man, I can't remember a enjoyable, stressful evening on the couch. And hey, I got to say, quick shout out for Real Kipper and Born. We do the crossover every day with the Blair and Barker guys. Fantastic show. They're probably going live pretty soon here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. And Jeff Blair said to me today, he said, you know what, Sammy, don't worry about it. Like, it's okay. I was obviously panicking. I was like, the series is over, blah, blah, blah. Panicking, clearly. He said the Jays are going to win 5-2 tonight. So
no way.
Shout out Jeff Blair. Yep. Those are the exact words he said to me. He said that the Jays are going to win 5-2 today. No problem.
But the only guy in the GTA that celebrated that Aaron Judge run at the end of the ball.
Honestly. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable. But listen, we'll get into the Leafs here in a second, but here's what watch the game. Here's what I'll say to you, that you and I, you're my best bud, and we went down to the Rogers Center this past weekend and had two of the best days I can remember ever at a sporting event, where jovial, you run it up. It's incredible.
Great chats with strangers.
We're in Yankees fans every Yankee fan's face, telling Yankees fans good try, just in their grills all the time.
Stink.
And the way last night went,
you're
thinking those two games that were incredible moments and the crowd is amazing. You're like, that's not going to matter. The Jays are going to blow these two games in New York, and they're going to have to go back to Toronto for the Sweat Dome. And they had that horrible blown lead last night, and just give the whole Blue Jays organization all the credit in the world for an incredibly well mapped out bullpen game, clutch hitting from the guys that, the bottom of the order guys that have carried this team all year, the Lucases of the world. I guess he hit high in the order, but a less of a, well-known guy.
Is not a known commodity.
Clement.
People thought you got his name wrong until 2 weeks ago, bro.
Buddy, I still am so tempted to call him Lukes. It kills me every time to go Lucas.
Never again.
I'm inching towards a Lucas jersey. I'm inching towards a Clement jersey. I love these guys. So just an incredible win for the Jays. I'm over the moon. I can't wait. And tomorrow's my birthday, bud. Yeah. What a week for me. Holy smokes.
Tomorrow's my birthday. What are you, 7 years old?
37. What a milestone.
Yeah, but I think that you nailed it with the guys that were the lesser lights of this team.
Yeah.
This was the unsung hero tonight. This was Eric Lauer. This was Ernie Clement. This was Nathan Lucas. This was Miles Straw. Go on down the line. Those guys clutched up and came through, man. This bullpen that has taken a beating over the course of the season, right? How much has Hoffman taken? How much has Brennan Little taken? All these guys have had their moments. Yariel Rodriguez, right? Every single one of these guys at some point, Blue Jays fans, Varland even, Varland had a stretch there in August where people were going, this is the dude that we got in the deadline 4 times in 5 games. He goes out there and he absolutely shoves for the first couple of innings when they needed him.
Yeah.
This Blue Jays season and this Blue Jays team has been all about how they're not just a couple of individuals. They are a real team. And that's kind of the play that the Maple Leaf season is about too, dude, can they be a team? Can they feel like more than just a couple of guys? And tonight you just saw it, and bang on about the organization choosing to go with the bullpen game, because there were a lot of people talking trash about that. And even today I was talked into maybe you got to pitch Gossman and poor Ben Nicholson-Smith got like 85 text messages from me about how they just needed to do it because they weren't going to be able to cover enough innings.
Yeah.
And those guys did the damn thing, man. And I'll tell you what, people were bitching and moaning about Chris Bassett not being there on this roster or Max Scherzer not having a 4th starter. Those 2 guys aren't limited in the best offense in baseball to 2 runs over 9 innings. And so
there was no worse take than Max Scherzer revisionist history. I watched those starts down the stretch.
Yeah.
No part of this. And it's just, you nailed it. Everything you said there. I'm over the moon elated. And I'm like, how does Nathan Lucas feel tonight? That guy was grinding in the minors for how many?
He's Stevie from Eastbound and Down. I feel 10 feet tall right now.
Honestly, that guy grinded. The Jays called up guys over him so many times. He was a bit part. He was a farmhand. He was like, and he finally gets his opportunity this year. He runs with it. They have enough faith in him to put him second in the lineup, and he comes through with that knock. And you talk about it in football all the time, right? Where your team's biggest weakness often shows up in the worst possible situations. And the Yankees, they kick the ball around all year long. One of their sweep the Jays had of them at the Dome was one of the most pathetic displays of defense I've ever seen from a Major League Baseball team. And in the most important moment of the game, Jimenez hits was there a more tailor-made double play ball than that ball that was hit straight to Jazz Chisholm? He kicks it into center field. The Jays end up scoring 2 or 3 runs in that inning, two, I think, to make it 4-1, and away we go. But man, you just knew that the Yankees defense would come around, and it did. So
even more than watching the Blue Jays celebration videos and their post game.
Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm post game tonight.
Oh, must see.
Hit.
Maybe, do you think he'll face the media for this one, or do you think he'll turn his back on the media again?
I think he'll Cam Newton. I think he'll just dip.
Or he'll go full Shador and just mime. No.
No, it was awesome, man. I just there was definitely a feeling after that loss last night of was that being up 3-1 against the Florida Panthers with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And man, oh man, if you're the Leafs, like I'm just gonna keep doing the crossover stuff because this is Leafs talk.
Yeah,
you gotta try to learn something from this team. I already said, play like a team, find a way to get together. Every single one of those Blue Jays, what did they say all season long? They've never been on a closer team. Multiple guys quoted as these guys are going to be my friends forever before they did anything. And then they face adversity, right? They face adversity and they blow a game that they should have had. And what do? They go out and they step on the Yankees' throat. They score a run in the first inning. They instill confidence in their team. The depth guys end up showing up. What do the Leafs need? Depth guys to show up in big moments. Like, man, if there was ever like this should be their film study. Okay. You don't need to watch the other teams before the games. Make the Toronto Maple Leafs and their players watch the Toronto Blue Jays come through in a big moment because man, oh man, this city needed it, bro. Like everybody here. I know there's some Leafs talk Yankees fans.
Yeah.
We hate your guts. We hate your guts. Like Blue Jays fans hate Yankees fans. There's nothing that they're happier about than beating the New York Yankees. Nothing would have been more sour than having like Aaron Judge celebration time. Hey, this guy finally showed up in the postseason and he killed the Toronto Blue Jays. Like
he went full Marner.
This is glorious.
He went full Marner. Like he had the one moment, like, where it's clearly like, oh my God, is this the reason that it's going to turn around? He has, he have again, another couple of fake big hits tonight that don't contribute to anything. Like he probably hit the least impactful 600 hitter in a series I think I've ever seen outside of one huge moment. He did
the Marner thing of yelling at the guys in the dressing room in between intermissions going, hit somebody when you've never hit anybody and your hair's dry. And he goes, I'm going to stand on the top step all game long. Even though
how about him smiling at first when Bellinger's at the dish and they're down? I was like, oh my God, man.
You can't have that look.
So if I'm going to try to transition this into the Leafs a little bit, you were not a good boy in the third period. I was a good boy. I had the sound on loud. I was watching Leafs with the Jays on. I couldn't put the sound back on because the Jays were winning when the sound was totally off. So I had to watch the end of that game totally muted because I couldn't possibly put the sound back on because it was bad luck with the sound. So silent end of the Jays for me. Yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at with baseball. But the Leafs fans, if we're at the game tonight, like I think they had it on the Jumbotron the entire time.
No,
Like,
not the entire time.
I think every break they were going to it. Like, I think during the breaks they were putting the Jays game up there.
Yeah, but you can't put it on during the game.
No, I know,
but
Jumbotron.
Like everybody just
there was a
next grade watch it.
There was breaks intermission. So every break they put it up in the intermission. So there was this
great move by MLSE.
Huge moment where Lucas gets the 2-run single and the crowd erupts. And then a massive "Go Jays Go" chant breaks out.
That's awesome.
And you know what? Like, in my younger years, when a "Go Jays Go" would break out at the at Scotiabank Arena, then ACC, it would mean that the Leafs were horrendous.
Yeah,
and that they
shot at the Leafs.
But now it really feels good that they're just like, it's just. So I just, it's a connectivity thing. All the Leafs went to the game. They saw how electric this thing can be. Like, we talked about this after the game on Sunday, bud. Like, it's just, there's such an electricity about the Jays fan base and one that the Leafs fan base and the Leafs, like, it just doesn't feel the same when you go to a Leafs game that it does as a Jays game. And it's just, it's incredible. So good on the fans for cheering that at the game. And it had to energize, the hockey players a little bit too.
Dude, that's actually another good take in terms of like lessons the Leafs can learn from the Blue Jays is they've got to figure out a way to make home ice an actual advantage for this hockey team. And the Jays have built-in advantages, which is the stadium is much larger. You have a roof open during patio culture season, which in this city is basically like our number one thing.
Yeah, we like that.
We like patios. We have way more drinking culture. So you've got a way more boozed up crowd under the sun watching a baseball team. There's 162. There's not as much trauma with the Blue Jays as there is Maple Leafs. Like, that's the one time I don't blame Leaf fans in the arena for being quiet is when they're down and it's a huge spot and it turns into a library. You go, yeah, I'd love it if this team was able to get their fans to get loud. But to me, that's on the players at this point because there is so much trauma and it's not the same way with the Blue Jays. But yeah, dude, you're watching this team and you go through it, every single marker that you could possibly want from the Leafs. Star players showing up in huge spots, Vladdy.
Yeah.
Depth players punching above their weight and feeling like they're a part of the team. The guys that we mentioned, playing good defense, run prevention, stopping big goals in big spots, loud crowds, like all of it is what the Toronto Maple Leafs are hoping to be. Okay, so we can pivot into the Leafs. I've got an hour tomorrow on my show. I'm going to be doing more Blue Jays talk. I'm going to do it with a guy who only played for the Blue Jays, never another team, Curtis Granderson.
Wow, that's actually a sick get though.
It's awesome.
He's a great talker. That's going to be good.
He's the man. He's absolutely the man. Great guy. So excited to pluck his brain on this one. So just right away, we got to see the new guys. I think we should run through them. First impressions of watching them play in a real game.
I would say that they built into it. I thought the first period looked like the old guys versus the young guys that come home from college for the summer skate. It looked like a bunch of guys that were flying around and some guys that were stuck in mud, and that there was a real speed discrepancy between the Leafs and Habs. I thought that was really the first
slow. 2 periods, to be honest.
Well, first period and a half for me. It really did feel that the Habs were kind of buzzing around. But as the game went on and as the game wore on, it felt like the Leafs kind of started to, I don't want to say physically impose themselves, because I don't think it was, a particularly physical game, not a ton of grit to it outside of Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Line getting into a slap fest for a little bit.
I thought Carlo was really physical and solid tonight.
For sure.
He won a lot of puck battles.
But it just felt like the Leafs kind of new identity and what they're trying to be is they're kind of trying to grind these games down into the mud a little bit and just have it be that you have your couple dynamic guys, you have your Matthews, you have your Nylander, Nyes, Michelli can, play with those guys or go up and down the lineup. But outside of that, you're just going to have a bunch of big dudes that just lean on people. And it felt like the Leafs size kind of wore them down towards the end. And I thought Nyes, he makes a good read. He goes in on the breakaway. I don't know how Hudson doesn't get a penalty for, I'm not going to do ref talk on the first show after, but he's backpacking on Nyes halfway down and then down the ice. And then the puck comes out in front and Morgan Riley makes a great play, shoots it in the net. And I thought he was a guy that really earned it tonight. And that for me, we talked about, I don't know if we talked about this as one of the biggest storylines, but when we did your show, one of our whipping boy draft, like Morgan Riley was easily number one. Or him, I think it was him that we did number one. I'm trying to think back to those days. We've talked a lot in the last couple of days, but I thought it was an excellent start for Riley. So the new guys I thought looked big and slow, but kind of grew into the game. And then Riley, the old guy, really delivered. That's kind of how I thought.
I was going to say, like, I asked you what first impressions were, and you gave me the entire game breakdown. I was like,
sorry.
The entire
sorry,
game.
buddy.
Okay, so my first impressions, Michelli on his very first shift made a beautiful play that set up a scoring chance.
Yeah.
And then I thought pretty much the rest of the game, he kind of went away very, I don't want to say Nick Robertson-esque, because obviously they're like different kind of guys, but just a smaller dude in the corners. And you can tell that line is going to take a little time to build some chemistry. And even Berube went to Max Domi a few different spots with that top line, deciding, hey, you know what, this is the look I'm going to, because they really couldn't get anything going. They had their first real chance. I think they got their first shot on net in the midway through the second period. I didn't like that the top line didn't feel imposing against the Montreal Canadiens, but that's one where I'm going to give it a little time. I love Waz edge. There's just little moments in that game where just tiny little scrums, and he's not afraid to jaw at somebody. And he's just a big body. And I texted this to you privately that he gave me Engvall vibes just in terms of his body and when he's out there. He's just a long guy. Yeah, a long guy. And it went Engvall flashbacks. But there were a couple moments in that game where he was on the forecheck, and I thought the fourth line had some really good, just Berube style grind moments, and he popped for me. Like, absolutely stuck out. I thought it was a little bit more quiet for Dakota Joshua. I didn't notice him as much in this game. Gonna have to find his legs maybe a little bit more. I'm hoping that ultimately, again, once Lawton comes back, that they can try to make some of these lines coalesce a little bit. I don't mind trying to mix and match out of the beginning of the season. We've been critical of the coaching staff for not doing enough of that at times. So it's okay. You can learn how to do this stuff, but it did have a stranger feel to me tonight in that these guys have not played a lot together. And for a team where there's a lot of continuity on the blue line, and there's still quite a bit of continuity with some of the players, the line combinations felt quite foreign to me. And there were a lot of shifts where it just kind of felt like offensively, I was waiting for the second line to hop over the boards to create some offense, because those are the only guys that actually seem to have real chemistry.
Totally. I do think that the thing that surprises me about Waugh and what I've seen from him in the preseason, what I've watched, and tonight, definitely has a lot more skill with the puck than you're expecting.
Yeah.
Like he can really handle it. And he made a play in the game tonight where he kind of had it up near the blue line, and he made a nice sort of cut dangle into the middle of the ice, and he got it stick checked or whatever. But he does have a bit of skill, and there maybe is a little bit there more to him that if you needed to in a pinch, he's a guy that you could play with a little bit more offensively minded guys, as opposed to him being in the bottom half of the lineup. I like him more as sort of the bottom half of the lineup defensive type guy. But in a pinch, if somebody's got to miss a couple shifts or somebody's going to miss a couple games, like, you could do worse than having him move up the lineup a little bit. But yeah, I think we're going to like Waugh. That's my early takeaway from watching this tonight and watching him in preseason. I think he's a guy that we're both going to really like. I just wish he didn't wear Mark Giordano's number, because it's going to take some getting used to for a forward to have 55.
Yeah,
it's a weird forward number.
Yeah, it definitely. I had the exact same thought, and I swear to God, I wrote it in my notes that you were going to make that observation tonight.
We've been doing this a while here, but
I know you're the numbers guy.
Year 4, we're doing a lot of it.
It's funny though. I didn't really clock it too much in the preseason, and granted, I didn't watch a ton of preseason, but I did tune in a couple of times just to take a peek.
Yeah,
and that was notable. Okay, some other things for me. Leafs score first, and it's the second line that does it, and it made me think about something, which is, all right, Tavares wins a faceoff, elite faceoff guy. Nylander's buzzing around the top of the zone. Yep. He filters one on net. He's a guy that's going to do that. Bobby McMahon tips it in front of the net. That's not really a Bobby McMahon style goal. And my thought on this is, can Bobby McMahon become more of a big body net front presence guy? Like, why can't he do it? He's got hands, he's got size, and now he's going to be playing with two guys that actually can require having that skill set on their line. And so, early impression, but Bobby McMahon scoring a goal in a way that isn't like, driving the net or being on a 2-on-1, using his speed. And he had that a couple of times tonight. Like, again, his speed really popped. He was flying a couple moments.
Yeah.
But this would be a huge development for his game if he's able to incorporate this just a touch more throughout the season and add a few of those.
Yeah, that was Bobby McMahon's first goal since the last time the Jays won a playoff series. So just a fun stat there for you. Honestly, I don't know why he can't do it, but there's a lot of things with Bobby McMahon that I don't know why he can't do them, because you look at his physical gifts and he just seemingly has them all. But if he, put it all together every night, he'd make $10 million because he's big, he's fast, and he can fire the puck, right? There's a reason he doesn't make a ton of money. There's a reason he was in the ECHL for a long time and he's kind of just making his way into the NHL. It's the inconsistencies. And I don't think he necessarily wants to be a physical guy. And I think Berube wants him to be a physical guy. And I think they probably had some give and take on that. And for him to go to the front of the net and be the sort of net front guy that you think he can be, and I think he can be because he's got the skills, I think it's a physical part of the ice. And I think it's a part of the ice where big guys are going to be cross-checking you in the lower back and slashing your legs and engaging with you physically.
Well, and it's I'm not sure to do it against the Montreal Canadiens in game one, and it's a very different story to be doing it in the postseason against the Florida Panthers.
So it's just, I love the idea of it. I'm just not sure he's going to be willing every single night to do that, but he's got the skills to do it. He's got the hands. He's got the ability to tip. And I love those plays. They seem like they were doing that a lot tonight, those filter plays. And maybe they had something on Montembeault where it's like the screenshots. I mean, that's how you beat every goalie. So maybe it's not like they're just Montembeault gets beat by tips. It's literally what you're trying to do. Yeah. But they really felt like they were trying that a lot tonight. And it ended up working out for that one. So nice for that line to get on the board early because it's, we've had our conversations over the years of doing this show. It's like, oh my God, another year Nylander Tavares. We're just firing it up and they look good tonight. So had a couple defensive shifts that left me wanting a little bit. Willie not moving his feet on night one. That's not the most surprising
I thought both
thing,
the top lines had a couple of tough defensive shifts in this one. Habs had a little bit of reminded me of like early days Leafs where they were fast and they were young and there was a lot of excitement about the potential more so than the immediate results. Obviously Leafs ended up being more competitive quickly compared to the Habs, but they had a little bit of that tonight where there were some moments where they were just snapping the puck around, especially early in the second period, and the Leafs looked stuck in mud. But to close the McMahon point, I'm with you. I'm not saying like one game against Montreal in early October is going to change my perception of him, obviously. But this gets to, you mentioned why can't he do it?
Yeah.
Right now, one of the Leafs' bigger advantages is what we started the show with, is that they've got some new faces and they're going to jumble up the lines. Yeah. And if Bobby McMahon doesn't add some physical presence to his play or that line's production drops off in any way, I don't think Berube is going to have any issues putting Michelli on that second line and taking a peek at him. He's probably curious to see it. And so McMahon last year ended up getting bumped down. He saw his production drop off. This is a guy that doesn't have a long, big contract in the NHL. And I think he should realize what another season playing top 6 minutes would do for his career if he's able to have another 20-goal season. And so if he wants to accomplish that, I think he's going to have to accept that as a bit more a part of his game. And the Leafs, unlike other seasons, just have way more options to play around the lineup with on the wing and especially the left side. So hopefully the competition kind of boosts them up a little bit. Power play concern from game one? We already in power play concern?
Buddy, that first one, that first one, I was like, I think I'm just turning this off and watching Jays now, period. Sorry. No Leafs talk for me because I think I don't want to watch them enter the zone for 82 games here because, oh my God, it was painful. Did they only have 2 tonight? Or did they have more than 2? I don't think they had that many.
Not the right guy to ask.
Yeah. I think it was just 2 if I'm quickly pulling it up here. They had 2.
Yeah.
The first one was one of the most like they had the shorty and they could have had 2 more. Like they had grade A chances and they talked about on the intermission a little bit of how brutal of a performance it was. And they were right. I thought the second one, they snapped it around a little bit more. They were in the zone a little bit more, but just, I don't want to do this night one because I thought Riley was good, but it's just, we know what it is.
No, but
and especially without having Marner there, it's going to be worse. So
the thing that you noticed in Marner's absence more than anything in this game, because the top lines had nights like that where, they feel kind of ghosty, right? Yeah. And Nyes was good on the forecheck and he creates the goal by Morgan Riley, right? Like he's getting to the net and creates some havoc. So it wasn't like a total loss, and Matthews scored an empty netter. Good for him. But Yeah, you texted me, and I think that's right. Is you forget that Marner was this like the secondary or at times primary transporter for this power play, and that there's going to be a bit of an adjustment there, trying to make it more Nylander and make it more Riley. And I think that there's going to be some growing pains for guys that have been on power play one their entire careers.
Totally. No, it's just I think special teams in general is where they'll miss Marner the most.
Yeah,
excellent.
I thought the PK though I liked. Like
they're good. It's just a different look. They're just bigger and like in more lanes, and it's a different look than it would be with Marner out there. But yeah, I thought they looked better on the second one, but the first one was one of the worst things I've ever watched. And I watched Aaron Judge hit a grand slam or a 3-run home run to tie the game against the Jays literally last night. So
yeah,
it was a bad thing to watch.
Already a fear to the season watching Matthews limp off the ice, and
really
turns out to be okay. But again, it highlights for me how we talked about his defensive game all playoffs, debated it with everybody, had a billion people in the chat going like, he doesn't get enough attention for his defensive play, and then a billion people going like, he's paid to score goals and blah blah blah. Man, when that happened for a guy that's starting to like trying to start the season healthy and just to have a moment where you had to hold your breath, God, there's so much. It just made me think about how much is on 34 this year, man. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. And I didn't think he was particularly overwhelming tonight. You know, I didn't think, I mean, it's the first game of the season. They end up winning. He gets a beautiful goal at the end of the game. He
does own Montreal. And so there was a little like, I would say there's zero panic with that player, but it was a 1% more critical because of the way that he owns the Habs.
And he scored an empty netter as his 13th career opening night goal.
Yeah.
And they play the Habs every opening night.
Yeah.
Like he just scores so many goals against the Habs. But yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of time for him to, he's going to have to figure out who he's going to play with. They're going to be putting Domi up there. They're going to try Michelli again. They're going to do a lot of different stuff, and it's going to look different, and that's good. But I don't think it's necessarily going to be Nyes all year. I think they'll switch it up. I think it just gives them way more freedom to switch things up. So not great for Matthews tonight. I mean, not awful by any stretch of the imagination. Gets a goal, doesn't have a 0 in the ledger after the first game of the season, and they get the win. But
I will say this though, man, my early Matthews test is going to be pretty severe just from one standpoint, which is I want to see the shot.
Yeah. He hit one hard on the one-timer on the power play.
Yeah, but that's not
the
shot.
It hard. No, the curl and drag fire.
And he had a one-timer in the preseason too that he hit hard. Like, I'm not doubting whether or not a big man at 6'3" with that weight can drive one.
Yeah,
I need to see the shot. The shot is the key, and we didn't really get a peek at it tonight. And I mentioned it to you countless times coming into the season and watching preseason games. It was really the only thing I was looking for. And it remains to be absent. All right. Rapid fire. Anything you've got?
Yeah. What do you think of Noah Dobson's game? Just saw a few Islander fans. Just some tweets getting sent to me by some Islander fans about Noah Dobson's hockey game.
Yeah. I think that
a touch aloof out there, if you will.
It's a weighty stake for Islanders fans who put themselves immediately in the position of like, you're going to have some real tough moments with this guy. Luke, can you show the empty netter again? If you're watching on YouTube, Sportsnet Plus, just watch the back check by Dobson on this. If you go, I think he's 53, right? Yeah. So it comes around here as we're watching. Really good back check here. If you're listening on the podcast. Yeah.
Good hard strides there on that one.
Yeah.
First night with your new team. Maybe mix in a hard stride, bud. Holy crap. You're playing against the Leafs for the Montreal Canadiens and you do 2 push-offs.
Yeah.
It's tough luck. I didn't love his game tonight.
My only other rapid fire thing to add on this is this has got to be the most dead player introductions that this team has ever had. Like for the new guys, they must have shown up and been like, I thought I was coming to a hockey crazed market.
Yeah.
I thought there's nobody watching. There's nobody.
All the loud fans are at home watching Jays.
Yeah, but not even just the loud fans. You'd still be in the concourse watching on a TV. You'd be watching on your phones. there's not a soul on earth that would have put that on their television screen to actually watch the intros versus the beginning of the Blue Jays game. I don't think we'll ever have that again, where it's to that degree, where the opening night new players get introduced and nobody sees them.
Yeah, it was quiet. It was quiet in there.
Yeah.
And then I remember that the Derek Lalonde's on the bench. When I had it on my computer, I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, Derek Lalonde on the bench. I have to just one more quick thing.
Yep.
Last thing. I saw the like the entry pictures for the Leafs or whatever, and it was like a cold splash of water in the face. I forgot they did the dress code thing. Why did they have to change that? This is my old man take, but like, is it too much to ask to throw on a suit to play in the National Hockey League?
No, I'm
like,
Don Cherry all the way on this.
Like, it's the National Hockey League, man. You're making 11 schmil and you can't put on a nice suit. Like, what a dream to show up to the rink in a $10,000 suit, looking booted. You're a jacked hockey player. It just, and you show up wearing like sweatpants. It's embarrassing.
I hate
drives me crazy. I can't believe they changed that. That was like one of the unique thing that the NHL had. And it's just like, let's be the NBA now. It's like sick. Good job.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know that's an old man take, but it drove me crazy.
I think it's the right take. I think it's the right take that the NHL, for whatever. Again, this has been a long time take for me, which is the NHL seems to think that showing personality is kooky outfits. It's like, look at David Pastrnak and Mitch Marner's the hat all the guys wear. You're like,
but like Pasternak's suits were sick. Yeah. And that's how like he expressed himself. But like it was a suit.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that they've leaned way too far into different outfit culture.
Yeah.
And instead of actually having players open up and tell you about their lives and actually try to let the fans in that way, they just decided, well, what if we wore a hat and some glasses and sweatpants to the arena? And,
what if I wore my Kith shirt?
Yeah. Get a fit off.
And yeah, it just always reminds me of my favorite TV segment ever with Grapes at the 2010 Olympics.
Yeah.
When the Canadian boys are walking in their suits. He's like,
so
look
good.
at these boys. And then it was the slob Americans all wearing suits. He's like, those guys are slobs.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. It's the greatest segment ever. I've searched for it 100 times. I can't find it anywhere.
It's a good
Can't find it anywhere. It was incredible.
All right. That's it for us. It'll be less Jays talk probably moving forward, but maybe not. Maybe if the Jays are just continue to rip it
here's
up.
The dream scenario for us is that Monday will be game 2.
Yeah.
But the Leafs play Monday.
Yeah.
But it's an afternoon game.
Yeah.
So the Leafs game, Leafs talk will be over, and then we could go straight into watching Jays. Yeah. It's a perfect scenario for us. So
perfect super sports day. What that would be.
What a Thanksgiving with the families. Thanksgiving weekend, game 1, ALCS. You don't have to argue with your family around the table. You can sneak away.
Like, now you and your uncle, the conversation that you dread every year. Hey, sorry, man. I'm trying to watch the game.
Sorry, man. Yeah, sorry. It's a CS here.
It's wall-to-wall games, and he'll sit there and maybe eat the smart food out of crush a bag. Anyway, for JD Bunkis, Sam McKee, follow us anytime, Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam A. McKee. Try to read the DMs. Thanks for those of you that hit the thumbs up in the chat. Obviously, we've got the loyal diehards. So those of you, we're sorry we made you wait till after the game, but my God, go Jays, go!
And shout out Christian and Luke for hanging around, making
absolutely.
us after the Jays game. Shout out the boys,
Crack
the
production team that texted us, hey, we're not going to really cut any clips because we're watching Jays too.
Fair, boys. Love you. 100%. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you for the next one.